Aloha, this is Carl Bonham. I'm the executive director at UHERO. And, I had a conversation at the House Select Committee meeting on Monday, and I'm just going to share some of my thoughts from that presentation. And this is an economic update that was mostly based on UHERO's most recent forecast release. And, we spent some time looking back at how things have changed over the past year. And we recently got new data on unemployment for January, and unfortunately, as has been true during much of this pandemic, Hawaii leads the nation with the highest unemployment rate at 10.2%, and not only the highest unemployment rate, but the largest increase in unemployment. We went from 2.2% in January of 2020 to 10.2%, by far the largest increase nationally. And really, there was no place to hide last year in the labor market. Pretty much every major sector in the state saw job losses. Obviously, accommodations and food service jobs were hardest hit, and those declines. So we're talking about almost a 40% drop in jobs and accommodations and food services, and we're talking about double and triple the losses that we see nationally. Transportation was similarly hard hit. The one sector we almost saw job growth in the finance sector. Actually, the only sector that posted any positive job gains was in federal government, and part of that was census hiring. So it was a bleak year. The neighbor islands, the smaller counties got hit the hardest, particularly Maui and Kauai, where we saw 20+% decline in payroll jobs, and naturally those economies are more concentrated in tourism, and so they got hit the hardest. And yet we've had successes. We launched a safe travels program. The state launched a safe travels program in October, and it has been an amazing success. It has been just as successful, I think, as the people who helped put it together expected. We are hoping and expecting to see upgrades to that program coming, particularly as we get more and more people vaccinated. And statewide, we've got probably 600,000 plus people have received at least one shot. And while we have seen some increase in case counts recently, we're very, very rapidly adding to our vaccines, and across the country that's happening as well. So many more of our visitors who are coming in will have already been vaccinated. All of those bode well for tourism, which is the number one way to get those almost 70,000 people who are unemployed back to work. So in the short run, the best thing we can do to improve the economic recovery and get people back to work on the payroll, being able to pay their rent, is to safely bring back tourists. And right now, for the month of March, we're looking at the number of visitors coming into the state at over 12,000 a day. So something like 40% of where we were back in 2019. And as we get into the summer and we've vaccinated many more people nationally and in Hawaii, those numbers will continue to grow, and we'll be able to get families back to work again. The great thing, the good news in the forecast updates, much of it is really coming. It's a combination of things. It's coming from the rapid acceleration of vaccinations and what that means in terms of opening the economy as we get into summer, but also the American Rescue Plan that is bringing billions of dollars. So between $6 and $8 billion. A lot of this depends just on how we mobilize, how many new PPP loans we take out, what our unemployment rates are, things like that. But we're talking about over $2 billion in direct payments to households, and many people are already receiving in their bank accounts, earned income tax credits, child tax credits, over $2 billion in support to state and county governments, close to $1 billion in extra unemployment benefits, and close to $200 million or more in support for housing, for rental assistance and other programs. So putting all this together basically moves our recovery forward by about a year, maybe even 2 years. It repairs household budgets, helps to repair household budgets, and holds us over until the economy can really recover later this year. Mahalo.